Hey everybody. Today, Rahdo runs down Royal Palace, which is a Euro-style area control game where 2 to 4 players control a massive staff of servants trying to help the king keep his castle under control during a royal ball. And the way it works is, on your turn, you're going to have the opportunity to activate several different rooms in this randomly generated castle layout. And so let's say it's my turn. I am the green player. The first thing we do on our turn is we recruit more staff members. So we look down here at the parade line. All these people want to get hired. The number of servants I have here is how many new people I'll hire. So since I've got 2, I would hire 2. But here's the area control element. You can see, Jen, my opponent also has 2. This symbol here, whenever it's on a room, it means that if you have the majority, you get a bonus. Now, it looks like we're tied right now. But over here, I've got a servant hanging out with the bishop. And that means I will break every tie because I've got the bishop on my side. So that means effectively I've got 3 guys here. I beat Jen, and my area control bonus is I get 1 additional hire. So I have just hired 3 people who have shown up at the front gate. So that's the first thing you do on your turn is hire people. The second thing you do is move your servants around. And so we check out here at the master staircase. However many servants we have determines how many moves we can do. And again, there is a tiebreaker. Jen and I are tied, but because I'm over here with the bishop, I break the tie, which means I get 1, 2, 3, 4 movements because I'm in the lead. Now, these guys aren't going to be doing anything here, so I should get them going. Let's have one. I'll have one of them move here, so he will be able to meet somebody at the back door later on. And then I'll have this guy go 2, 3. And so he's actually going to have an audience with the king, which might help me later on. Now I've got one more move. I can move this guy, which I really should do because he's not doing anything, but I don't have to. If I don't care about my tie breaking anymore, I could move this guy over here so I'll recruit more people next turn, as an example. Or if I don't want to move around as much, I could move somebody else over here so I've got an even bigger audience with the king. Maintaining your staff and moving them around with your sometimes limited movement is key to the game. Now as it is, I don't want this guy to do nothing, hang around the front gate. So I've got my last movement. I'll have him come over here so I can maintain a stranglehold on the bishop so that I'll be able to continue to break ties just in case Jen ever wants to move into the bishop. She's going to have to move in with 2 here. So first I recruited, then I moved, then I start generating resources. I've got 2 guys over here in the mint. That means I make 2 gold, and since I've got the majority, I make 1 extra, so I just made 3 gold. Hooray. Then I look at the king. Since I've got 1 person over here with the king, or I should say, since I've got the majority with the king, I'm the only one here, I get another one pulled in for free. So now I've got 2 sway with the king. Meanwhile, over here at Madame Pompadour, well, I don't have anybody here, so I'm not going to get any influence with her. But Jen, on her turn, is going to start generating influence with the madam of the house because she has got the majority here. So after that, if I had anybody in the office, let's say, for example, that I had moved this guy 1, 2 all the way over here, and I left this guy over here. So instead of moving him him here and the other one down there, I left him alone and I moved this guy all the way over here. That means if I've got somebody in the office, I can use him to exert the king's influence or the madam's influence, or both of their influence, over the party guests to score points. So let's say I want to spend him. That means he'll come back to my supply, and I have 2 king's influence I can use, and I've got 3 gold that I just made in the mint. Let's see if there's somebody I can get on side. Let's see. This should be worth 6 points. Unfortunately, I have the 2 king's influence, but I need 6 gold. So I'm looking for somebody who doesn't need much gold and doesn't need much king's influence. And if I'd been playing strategically, I would have figured this out right off the bat before I did anything else. Looking around, no, there is nobody in this particular layout I can recruit now. So that means this round, I will not recruit anybody. I'll save my money. I'll keep him here in the office. And over time, as I get more and more money from the mint and more influence with the king, I'll eventually be able to start recruiting these people to get points or to get special powers as well. Like next round, if I just get a little bit more money and a little bit more influence of the king, I'll score 5 victory points and I can get more bonus action cards. Anyway, so this round I am not recruiting because I didn't quite figure it out well. And then after done recruiting, the last thing we do is if we have somebody at the back door, like let's just say I had this guy over here at the back door. Let's say I had 2 guys at the back door. Now, there's no majority bonus here, so it doesn't matter if I have majority over here or not. But for how many guys here, I draw that many action cards. So I can keep this one that'll let me immediately recruit 4 people whenever I need, although I got to spend 1 gold to do it. Or I could, well, that's the exact same card. Let's see if we can get a different one. I should have shuffled. Or this one, which doesn't cost anything, which gives me 5 additional movement. So I could completely reconfigure my staff layout at a moment's notice. That's pretty good. I want to keep that in my back pocket. And over time, we will start using the office to recruit these nobles on side, which means we take them to score points at the end of the game. And we, for some of them, we get victory points. And there's an area control element here too, because as ones are recruited from the outer edges of the board, we have to start giving up our servant staff, which means we have fewer and fewer that we can use in fewer turns. But at the end of the game, there are 6 points to be had for having the majority of servant staff on the south, the north, the west, and the eastern flanks. Now, taking these ones in the middle, they won't help you with that in-game scoring bonus, but there's an interesting thing there as well, too, because when you want to recruit somebody, like let's say this one, which would normally cost $8 and 4 influence with the king, for every empty space that is next, let's say, so for every empty space that's next to one, their cost is reduced. So there's 2 empty spaces. A servant it doesn't count as occupying a space. They're not a noble. 2 empty spaces, that means this guy only costs 6. So the ones in the center of the board can get very cheap very fast. The ones at the outer edge of the board, they'll gobble up your staff, but they can translate to big points at the end of the game. And the game keeps going until, if I recall correctly, I believe we're down to 12 people, 12 nobles still out in the garden, which means the ball is almost over, and that, folks, is Palace Royale. This is a very, very sharp game from one of the designers of Carson City and Troyes, which are a couple of my favorite games of all time. This one's kind of fallen below the radar, but oh my gosh, it is so smart. Fun, fast playing with tons of replayability because of the different layouts you get for the castle, which can really make the game feel very different, and different powers that show up on the nobles, and different powers you draw from the deck. Tons of replayability. Really no downside to it all. This is a fun, fresh, fast-playing game, and who knew area control could be so much fun in a Euro setting. That's it, folks. That is Palace Royale. Thanks very much for watching the rundown. Have a nice day. Talk to you later. So long. Bye-bye.